Deadly arsenal. Nigerian officials unearth cache of hidden arms. External pressure. Special court put off key elections in Madagascar. And we put the spotlight on an international festival of Arabic calligraphy being held in Algeria. This is Africa Live on CCTV News with me, Beatrice Marshall, in Nairobi. Also ahead on the program, Burger King, the world's second largest fast food brand, sets eyes on Africa with the launch of flagship outlet in Cape Town. And it's a moment of truth. Burundi's Lydiane Sekera aims to become the first woman elected to FIFA's powerful executive committee. We begin in northern Nigeria, where the military police unearthed a hidden arms cache, which authorities believe belongs to members of the Lebanese political party and militant movement Hezbollah. Officials say the soldiers confiscated the weapons from the master bedroom of a home in Kano, the north's largest city. The weapons had been packed into small coolers and concealed under several layers of concrete. The arms, later shown on the state-run Nigerian television, appeared to include badly corroded rocket-propelled grenades, landmines, hand grenades, assault rifles and magazines. Now, some of the weapons appear to have been charred. Military officials say 3 Lebanese men had been arrested, including one who was caught at Kano's international airport trying to board a flight to Beirut carrying $60,000 in cash.
This is the handwork of his.
The true sense of evil would come if they have really said so, or they have it for a different purpose to harm our country. Only God knows. So even if it is targeted against Israel or Western interests, in most of these places you will find a lot of Nigerians working there, and these properties are inside Nigeria. So definitely, whatever destruction will be done will not just go to Israel or to Western interests, but it will be against Nigerian interests.
You can also be sure.
Well, let's get more on this developing story. And joining us now on the line is CCTV's Kate Parkinson from Tripoli in northern Lebanon. Kate, Nigerian authorities believe the seized weapons belong to members of a Lebanese political party. Has there been any reaction from Lebanon on this?
Well, yes, of course. Hezbollah have a powerful military wing, and they do operate in countries outside Lebanon. And so there is a chance that this is correct. However, there has been no official statement confirming it from Hezbollah. And actually, we haven't heard anything from the various other political parties in Lebanon speaking out against this. Opponents of Hezbollah are used to hearing about operations overseas. And actually, at the moment here in Lebanon, Hezbollah have recently said that they are currently engaged in military activities with the Syrian army across the border in Syria, and that is really the focus of everybody's attention here. It'll be interesting to see if Hezbollah do admit it. They don't usually deny things if they are involved. It's going to be interesting to see if they do make a statement, but at the moment we've had no confirmation or denial from Hezbollah on this.
Kate, though, military officials say 3 Lebanese men had been arrested in northern Nigeria. Do we know, though, of any subversive Middle Eastern elements operating in Nigeria?
Well, whether there's any active cells, so to speak, we don't have any concrete information on that, but it is highly likely that there are sleeper cells. Nigeria has a very large Lebanese community, and as I said, Hezbollah are active in countries in Africa and elsewhere in the world. Of course, Hezbollah is backed by Iran, and so and we do know that there have been several incidents recently involving Iran in Nigeria. For example, in February, Nigerian authorities broke up what they described as an Iranian-backed group that was gathering intelligence, looking for places that were visited by U.S. and Israeli citizens. Now, those people are still facing charge, but and there's no confirmation of whether the two incidents are linked. But with this latest development that we've had and speculation that these weapons were going to be used against Western and Israeli targets in Nigeria, then there is some indication here that there is sleeper cells that are becoming active in the area.
All right, CCTV's Kate Parkinson joining us there from Tripoli in northern Lebanon. Let's now head to Madagascar, where the interim government has postponed key elections after a special court found that outside factors had derailed the poll preparations. The vote, scheduled for the 24th of July, was meant to end a 4-year political deadlock on the island. The government's council has now decided to call on the Election Commission to determine an election calendar, opening the way for a new poll date. An electoral court earlier said it found the suspension of donor funds and international rejection of 3 controversial presidential candidates made it unlikely that the country would be ready by the July date. Interim leader Andry Rajoelina, who seized power with military backing in 2009, had on Monday asked for a 1-month suspension of the vote. He refused to resign from his position 2 months ahead of elections, as is required. The African Union, in the meantime, has refused to recognize Rajoelina's candidacy, along with that of his rival's wife, Lalau Ravalomanana, and former President Didier Ratsiraka. The African Union's mission in Somalia's police component has celebrated its first anniversary in the country's capital, Mogadishu. The AMISOM police unit has recently finished a series of investigative training courses for the Somali police force in what AMISOM police hopes would add value to the investigative prowess of the Somali police. Somalia's worst challenge remains terror attacks by members of the Al-Shabaab militia. Suicide attacks and landmine blasts have in the recent past proved both lethal and hard to prevent.
The Uganda FPU deployed in Mogadishu on the 2nd of August 2012 and became the first African FPU to do so amid the chaos and insecurity that prevailed in the city at that time. The deployment was marked with a mixture of optimism and pessimism.
We are grateful for your support. You've effected changes that have had positive effects on security in this city, and the Somali people have faith in the efforts of the AU.
At 8 minutes past the hour, we'll take a short break here on Africa Live, but still ahead on the program. Count on my support. Egyptian president assures non-governmental organizations. And we put the spotlight on an international festival of Arabic calligraphy being held in Algeria.
Breaking news, global trends. CCTV News brings you stories with the different aspects of Africa in the international content. With our reporters across Africa and all over the world, we'll tell you about the real Africa and how it impacts the world. Africa Live, every day, only on CCTV News.
You're watching Africa Live from Nairobi. Egypt's President Mohamed Morsi has expressed his gratitude to non-governmental organizations in the country, saying they played a very important role. He promised more support from the government to the sector during a congregation of non-governmental organization leaders in Egypt. CCTV's Adel Mahroui reports from Cairo.
Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi inaugurated a conference on the role of non-governmental organizations in developing Egypt. This was the 5th time President Morsi met with the NGO sector in 4 months.
I want to express my awareness to the importance of this sector, the NGO sector, and its influential role as a partner of development, total development. I was happy to listen to your plans and visions. We expect from this sector a lot.
Founders of the country's leading NGOs gathered to discuss possibilities of a new partnership among themselves. which would broaden the scope of their activities. The triangle of development includes the government, private sector and NGOs, yet the government has been concentrating more to boost investments through private sector, which left NGOs drowning in their own problems.
We hope the government will help us increase the role of NGOs in Egypt. It must remove the obstacles that we face, because without our role in the society, Egyptians would have slipped from poverty to famine. So our role is evidential.
The president announced that a new draft law regulating NGOs' work in Egypt will be discussed in the parliament. He stressed that it doesn't restrict their work. Controversy surrounded the first draft that imposed security supervision on all civil organizations, particularly on their financials, a matter that rose international concern.
We don't want laws to be the reason why we don't work. This law is like the previous one or slightly better. We shouldn't think about that. If we truly serve our country with honesty and integrity, no law would stop us from working.
With NGOs' assistance, aid reached remote locations in Upper Egypt. They are the poorest villages of the country. There are 43,000 NGOs that have been serving Egypt for decades. The biggest of those were always based near the capital, which limited their scope of reach. With the conference, they've shown commitment to expand their plans. All what they wait for now is facilitations from the government. Adil Mahroui, CCTV, Cairo.
The International Cultural Festival of Arabic Calligraphy is hosting a group of calligraphers from Algeria and beyond. It presents a great opportunity to share experiences and discover the methods and techniques of calligraphy from other parts of the world. CCTV's Maria Galang tells us more.
The event, organized by the National Museum of Miniatures and Decoration and Calligraphy, opened in the Algerian capital Algiers with an exhibition of calligraphy. The aim is to provide an opportunity for the public to discover the talents of some of the best calligraphers in the region.
Such events are great opportunities to exchange experiences and allow the discovery of new talents to enrich this art and keep it alive.
Calligraphy is still the main basis of Arabic and Islam. Whatever new technology comes will never be able to replace the human spiritual aspect of the high form of art.
On the sidelines of the festival, participants will open a debate on the art of calligraphy through various forms of expressions, with the participation of experts in the art of calligraphy. Workshops where attendees learn the art of calligraphy at the hands of experts will also be ongoing.
Calligraphy art began to flourish during the last 5 years by such forums, and in my opinion, I think there's no discrepancy between the manual calligraphy and technology, and a consensus in that matter can be big benefit in favor of this art and this beautiful cultural heritage.
The festival also aims to celebrate the International Children's Day by organizing a workshop in collaboration with the parents of pupils in Algiers. The festival will conclude with a ceremony to distribute prizes to the winners in the international competition. Maria Galang, CCTV.
An artist's village in Côte d'Ivoire's capital Abidjan is struggling to look for funding in order to stay afloat. 10 years of political instability in that country has seen the number of resident artists reducing and money drying up. Jen Keo tells us more.
It's rehearsal time for Ivorian artist Pape Nepo at the artists' colony of Kiyi in Abidjan. Nepo has lived here for 17 years and is about to release his 4th album. He says it's an inspirational place.
The village gave me the desire to take my work seriously. It helped me on my journey. This place confirmed my love for the work and gave me the strength to see things through to the goal, the love of work.
Kiyi was founded in 1985 and attempts to mirror and operate like a traditional rural African community. Over the years, the colony has welcomed artists, musicians and dancers. But times are tough. After 10 years of political instability, the village has come close to closing due to lack of funds. From its heydays when there were around 100 resident artists, today they're just about 30. And the site remains viable thanks to its concerts and the on-site museum.
Focusing on infrastructure has allowed us to resist and keep on creating things. The village is all about creating things and education, training people. Yes, it's a reduced level compared to before, but we haven't stopped. We're still here, we're still active.
Perhaps a sign of things to come, dance classes resumed in April. Children are taught twice a week, and there's hope that with more money coming in, further events and classes can be organized. While the village waits and hopes for a return to the glory days, some of its members are set to tour this summer to put Ivory Coast's cultural event firmly back on the map.